So today we'll be looking at this question. That's a word problem that came up in one of the SAT mathematics tests. Usually, students find it difficult to work with such word problems because it's hard to sometimes frame a mathematical construct around it. The most important thing that I would suggest doing in such situations is to assume variables. That's very important. And we'll see in this question how that applies and how it's important. So let's start reading the question. It says Tom purchased a bicycle for $402.5. So the moment I read this question, I should assume a variable about how much money Tom paid to purchase the bicycle. And I'll assume the variable to be easily recognizable for myself. So I'll assume it to be T because Tom starts with T. So I'll assume T as the variable and I'll say T is equal to 402.5. Now imagine that you should be doing this even before you start reading the second statement, so that this kind of solidifies this information in your mind that you know how much Tom has paid to buy the bicycle. Let's read the second sentence now. It says, this was 15% more than Rich spent on a bike. So now two things. Over here, first thing that they are introducing a second person Rich. So let's assume that Rich paid R to buy a bike. Now, if Rich paid R to buy a bike, it's saying that Tom had paid 15% more than what Rich had paid. So we should understand that this is the question of percentage. This is our hint that we need to remember everything that goes on in percentage. And because it's saying that Tom has paid 15% more than what Rich has paid, that means he must have paid R plus 15R over 100. That is 15% of R. So that means that is what Tom has paid. So that means Tom has paid R plus 0.15R, and that means Tom has paid 1.15R. Now this is important. This is an equation that relates T to R, and it helps us to find R in the process. That's why we should just mark this as the first equation. Now we'll read the second statement. It says that Alex purchased a bicycle that was 20% less than the amount Rich spent. So they're introducing a third person, Alex, who has also purchased a bicycle. So we'll say that they paid A to purchase the bicycle. And it says that that amount was 20% less than what Rich paid. And because Rich paid R, so that means Alex must have paid R minus 20% of R. That is 20R over 100. So that means A must have paid R minus 0.2R, or A must have paid 0.8R. Now, this is the second equation that you can have in your, you can number as number two, and it relates A to R. Now, let's read what is that we have to find over here. We have to find how much did Alex's bicycle cost. That means we want to find A. If we want to find A, we need R. And we can find R by using this equation, because here, if we have T, we have R, and we have the value of T. So we just need to substitute now from here to here, and then here to here, and find A. So let's do that quickly. So we get R is equal to T divided by 1.15. Because here, if you divide by 1.15 on both sides, you get R is equal to T over 1.15. So you get 402.50 divided by 1.15. That is your R. And then if you want to find A, you just need to multiply this with zero point 0.8. So you just need to do zero point 0.8 times R, which is 402.5 divided by 1.15. Now, I would always suggest that before starting to calculate things, you should write it down. Like I did not calculate R right here. I left it as 402.5 over 1.15 rather than doing the division. Because now I see that I can kind of approximate this calculation, because this is approximately 2 divided by 3. So the way I observe this is I know that zero point 0.8 divided by 1.2 is definitely one third. right? That's one third. And here we have a zero point 0.8 divided by 1.15. So that should be slightly greater than, sorry, this is a two third. So that should be slightly greater than two third. And so we'll account for that. This gives us that A has to be approximately 805 over 3, which is approximately 268. So A has to be slightly greater than 268, and that seems to be the option D over here. So, as you saw, the most important thing about solving such a word problem is to assume variables for all the information that is given and start writing the variables down and start relating one variable to another using the sentences. So, like when it was saying this was 15% more than Rich spent on a bike, I used that to form this equation over here. That's something that can come with practice. You can go into the detailed section of this video and get a worksheet link that will point you to many such questions and you can practice them. And if you have any queries, you can contact me on my contact information and we can study together.